Hi everyone, I'm Alpha from the World Times, and today we're going to be reviewing Zhirinovsky's Russian Empire. So, what is Zhirinovsky's Russian Empire? Zhirinovsky's Russian Empire isn't a movie, it's not a TV show, it's actually a story, a really good story. So, one day in Christmas, I was bored. No, sorry. I meant during December, I was really bored. There wasn't really much to do, and I was looking online, searching for something good to read. Then I stumbled upon a website, and it had this really great story called Zhirinovsky's Russian Empire. So I started reading it, and then I was hooked almost immediately in the first chapter. It's really great, it's really nice. So it's about a crackpot Russian politician called Vladimir Zhirinovsky, who's really Russia's mad lad. He's a real life person. You can Google him up. He's really not, well, he's got some really funny stuff out there. So in this story, Vladimir Zhirinovsky becomes president of the Russian Soviet, no, no, sorry, Soviet Russian Federative Republic or whatever. Basically, it's kind of like Russia within the Soviet Union. So the story goes that, the 1991 attempted coup against Gorbachev fails, but Boris Yeltsin, while standing on the tank, is killed, and uh, Zhirinovsky becomes president of Russia. That's the basic idea, and from there, well, the world goes through 2 decades of straight hell, but it doesn't involve nukes. I mean, Zhirinovsky doesn't go say, "Hey guys, what's up? I've got some vodka. Let's launch those nukes on DC." It doesn't really go like that. It's a lot nasty. It's really nasty and really, really realistic. Like some chapters would really have the hairs on the back of your neck standing. It's really chilling and really nice. So I'm gonna talk in more detail about it right now. Okay, guys, so you know me by now. I don't really like to give out many spoilers, and I don't really like to ruin the story for you guys. So I'm just going to give you a more detailed idea of what the story is about and move on from there. So let's get started. So imagine if the fall of the Soviet Union led to something other than the emergence of today's, post-Soviet states like Russia, Kazakhstan, etc., etc. Some of them are pretty good, like Latvia, Czech Republic, Poland, and others aren't doing so good, like Kazakhstan, Afghanistan, etc., etc. But in this world, the Soviet Union, Zhirinovsky, manages through brutal force and doing some really, really nasty stuff early on, manages to keep most of the Soviet Union together. But at the same time, he really, really marginalizes the new country called the Union of Independent States. It wasn't really a union, and it wasn't really, and the different places weren't really states. It was more really of a Russian-dominated empire, a de facto and de jure Russian-dominated empire where minorities were badly mistreated is an understatement, and people disappeared. A lot of really nasty stuff. So the basic idea: imagine the breakup of Yugoslavia, except a lot nastier and over a period of a long time, and not involving a middle range power that Moscow would say, "Hey, what's up, man?" But a superpower. That's the basic idea. Let's talk a little bit more about it. So, uh, Zhirinovsky isn't communist. He's basically a fascist. So he's kind of like the whole anti-American, anti-imperialist, anti-Zionist guy, that kind of stuff. He wants to bring back. In one of the scenes in the story, he said, "The only reason you're putting me in this hellhole is because I brought back Christianity to Russia. Get your filthy Turkish dog off me now." That is an actual scene from the story. So moving on, so the USSR turns into the Union of Independent States, a semi-fascist dictatorial state, and so that's the basic idea of it, guys. And in this story, the world is actually a lot like Game of Thrones. It is pretty nasty. When people die, bad things happen, really bad things, and the world you feel is really a lot like ours. And in this story, isn't really just about politics with Zhirinovsky, Bush, W, and the others. It's also explores cultures, peoples, musics, and the story is often told is in a bit of a unique way. I'll tell you about that now. Okay, so as I was saying, the story itself isn't really told in the traditional chapter 1, chapter 2. There is part 1, part 2, part 3, etc., etc. But it's not told in a traditional way. Instead, it uses a series of excerpts, interviews, and things like that to tell the story. So, for example, one example is uh, Arkan crosses the border into Montenegro, or uh, all politics are ethnic, or excerpts from the book The Soviets and the Serbs, Vladimir Zhirinovsky and the Conquest of Yugoslavia, stuff like that, really, or The Last Parade Before the Apocalypse. So it doesn't tell the story from a traditional way. It uses, as I said earlier. Now that doesn't mean that it's not good. Often the fictional headlines and the stories and the books are actually written in a way where if those people were really writing them, they would probably win all kinds of awards, Pulitzers, etc., etc., Emmys, even Emmys. That's how it's written and that's how it's done. So, as I was saying, the world just is really cool. It's really nice, and it explores different areas of the world, like what would happen if Zhirinovsky funds let's say, Christians against Muslims in the Philippines, or he turns Mexico into a real hellhole. Not that it isn't, anyways, with rival drug gangs, things like that. There's even a chapter where George Bush begs the Texans, no, the Mexicans to stay in America. I'm not joking here. It's really cool. Check it out. So that's the basic idea of the story and some of the things that are going on. That's what I liked about Zhirinovsky's Russian Empire, and I'm going to give you guys in more detail what I liked about it, what I didn't like, and my final thoughts. Oh, before I give you guys what I think and my final thoughts about it, let me just say you guys can check it out by Googling Zhirinovsky's Russian Empire. In fact, it will appear on the Google search. You can buy it online at Amazon for, I don't know, pretty cheap, less than $5 or something like that. In fact, even before you buy it, you can even read a sample chapter, which is kind of like, it's really good, so it will give you an idea of what I'm talking about, so check it out. So, as I was saying, everyone, what did I like about Zhirinovsky's Russian Empire and what didn't I like? Let's start with what I liked. I liked the story. I thought that the story was really interesting, really original, really chilling, and really real. Seriously, I'm not joking. You have to read the story to get what I mean. Uh, I also like the characters, the plot, and the way it was told. Like as I said earlier, it used excerpts, headlines, and things like that to tell the story. I thought that was a really interesting idea of telling the story. And if an author can pull that off, he really can pull that off. You'll get what I mean when you read it. I also like the characters. There are a lot of really good characters and a lot of really bad ones. Not bad ones like in badly written or whatever, but like really bad guys. You'll get that one when you read it yourselves. Yeah. So basically, that's what I liked about it. What didn't I like about Zhirinovsky's Russian Empire? Well, I didn't really not like anything. I thought it was a great story. It's really right now my favorite story. Like if I were to compare Zhirinovsky's Russian Empire with Game of Thrones, I would pick Zhirinovsky's Russian Empire. Why? Because the author doesn't milk it. Like he didn't drag it out too long. It won't feel like long. Like if you spend um, a month on a few chapters, you'll be done pretty quickly. That's how good it is. But what I don't like about June, not like, is that it will never probably be made into a movie or a TV show, and that's really sad because a lot of people would probably love it. The reason why it probably won't be made is because it's too political. A lot of the stuff there is actually real. I mean, it could have happened, so that's why it might never be made. But it's a real shame. But who knows? It might happen. I mean, credits there. Things have happened today. Okay, so my concluding thoughts is I really think you guys should check out Zhirinovsky's Russian Empire. It's a great story, it's got great plot, great characters, and you'll really enjoy it. You'll have a lot of fun reading it through. So, thanks for tuning in, and join me another time when we review another thing brought to you by the World Times. Goodbye and farewell.